This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Natalia Hall. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news 2 weeks now since the passing of deadly Hurricane Dorian. NEMA holding its daily press conference today with local agencies and NGOs reporting significant progress on the ground on Grand Bahama. Newly appointed NEMA coordinator for Grand Bahama, Senator Kay Forbes-Smith says, as they begin to move forward with relief operations, they are asking all residents to remain focused in caring for the needs of others and rebuilding the community.
Now is the time that we all need to pull together as one and be strong and supportive neighbors for each other. As I mentioned, I was only recently appointed to this role. However, one of my first priorities I saw as NEMA coordinator was the need to set up an efficient warehouse and distribution system to handle both the influx of supplies and then the distribution of supplies to residents through various organizations. As of today, NEMA has set up a warehouse in Freeport to receive shipments of donated goods, food and water and other supplies intended for Grand Bahama Island. And our goal is to establish at least 2 more warehouses in the coming days. Supplies such as food and water in a warehouse do us no good unless we can quickly get them inspected, sorted, and packaged for delivery or pickup. To help in this endeavor, we've asked the U.S. Coast Guard and the UN Office of Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OSHA, to help us by providing experts in logistics, warehouse management, and distribution. We believe this will greatly improve the NEMA Grand Bahama operation and the process of receiving and distributing aid on our island even more efficiently.
Now, she says it is imperative that they do their absolute best to process supplies. Meantime, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, hitting the road this past Saturday with a massive distribution effort, providing help and hope to residents. Jamila Mizik has the story.
The National Emergency Management Agency in Grand Bahama staging Operation Relief Saturday this past weekend, a door-to-door initiative where NEMA distributed relief supplies throughout various communities. Senator Catherine Forbes-Smith explains.
And we have ascertained, obviously, the information on those communities that was hardest hit during this hurricane. And so that is what we're doing today. It's very important for us to make sure that we walk door to door, street by street, and we give supplies to people. And this is a massive operation here today. We have well over 100 volunteers who are here helping. You know, despite what people are saying that there's no distribution going on in Grand Bahama, that is far from the truth. Because if we have to walk it and truck it, that's what's happening here today.
She says one of the challenges they're facing is finding additional warehousing.
Some people are saying they can't find their items, but what we are seeking to do today is we have to find additional warehousing on the island, and that's going to help us separate the goods that come in. The goods that come in are all coming at just 1 or 2 locations. I think once we could get some more warehousing organized, then we can direct certain shipments to those warehouses, so there's a little bit more organization going on.
Priya Thurmer is the Vice President of K1 Direct Regional Response Team, an organization based in St. Martin. She says their 16-member team has been assisting NEMA with logistics at the warehouse and the distribution process.
I've noticed in almost any disaster you go to, distribution is the most challenging and logistically complicated process. One thing that really impressed me here is to see that ESF 7 and NEMA is very proactive. Everything that's coming every day has gone out to the community. And of course, every day we've been trying to find more efficient ways to do it. But everything that's coming is getting distributed, and we're doing it very quickly, thanks to having a lot of manpower as well, and the proactive organization of, like I said, ESF and NEMA, which it's really commendable.
Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Senator Kwesi Thompson, is thanking all of their international partners for their continued assistance.
Because they are here, they are working from the crack of dawn, they are working late at night, they are packaging, they are on the trucks, they are also giving those items out. So we really want to thank all of the international partners who are here for all of the assistance that they've given to the government.
Now, NEMA is asking for more volunteers and trucks to assist in the distribution efforts. Interested persons are encouraged to register at the 3rd floor of the C.A. Smith building. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Thanks so much, Jamila. Residents of the West have their very own distribution center. The 8 Mile Rock High School gym has been set up as a distribution hub. The transformation taking place this past weekend. RJ Philippe was there.
The 8 Mile Rock High School gymnasium is being used as a distribution center for West Grand Bahama residents. Care packages are available for residents to pick up during operating hours.
We've been utilizing that site now for the last week to offload goods and ensure that the residents of that community are receiving those goods. We're asking for residents who are able to go to the gym and pick up necessary items such as water and toiletries, canned goods.
The Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini says this location has made the process a whole lot easier for West Grand Bahama residents.
We realize that West Grand Bahama is basically spread out. We've also had the opportunity to utilize some of the churches per se in West End, such as St. Michael, as well as St. Mary Magdalene's Parish Hall. And so what we're asking is residents to go to these locations if they're in need of anything following this hurricane.
Parker Edgecombe says she understands that it may take some time for residents in the surrounding communities to get back on their feet. However, she is optimistic that working together with Grand Bahama will recover.
We're fortunate enough now to have the entire West Grand Bahama restored with power, electricity, so that's a good thing. The only thing that we're really awaiting now is the water, and I do know that the officials of GB Utilities is working very hard with that. But we're just grateful. Compared to other parts of Grand Bahama, we weren't necessarily hit as hard, but we were impacted. You know, there are many persons whose homes were flooded, and these are the people that we're trying to get to, and those who would have really been impacted by this hurricane.
Also commending those organizations that came on board in the restoration of West Grand Bahama, such as churches, corporate citizens, and Old Bahama Bay played and continues to play an important role in assisting.
It's about teamwork here in West Grand Bahama, the administrator's office. You know, a lot of people have been helping on the ground, volunteering. We're happy for that. I do know that as far as the exigency forms and what have you that are now being used, they were giving until October 2nd for all of the items to be in for people to assist. I can be very, very honest with you. I am hopeful that we are able to meet October 2nd. I don't necessarily want the community to always just be in this mode, because I do believe that it is time for us to start rebuilding now. A lot of the people's homes and the structures were destroyed, and so outside of the food items, we're going to need a lot of building supplies and for people to have their homes fixed.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Now, ever since the devastation of the deadly storm, supplies have been coming to the country for residents of Grand Bahama and Abaco. Tonight, a NEMA official is outlining the process to receive assistance and is also appealing for volunteers. Jamila Missick has more.
The National Emergency Management Agency in Grand Bahama says it is working hard to ensure members of the public that taking care of Grand Bahama residents is a priority. But NEMA Supplies Officer Tammy Mitchell is urging residents to remain patient because she says there is a process.
Still have to check items. We still have to ensure that they're safe to go out into the communities. And as we're packaging, nothing is being left. No home is being left. Every item that we're taking in, we're ensuring that the persons get it. But we want people to remain calm. We're doing our best to assist everybody. We know that the island has been hit very hard. Even if you're coming here and you're looking for something, if we see there's a need, Senator Smith has advised us to please don't turn them away. So every aspect of relief supplies and distribution is being looked at.
Mitchell says East End and Abaco are also getting their share.
We've even had volunteers who've offered from the Broward Fire Rescue Crew. Anybody who's going to East End, if they're saying they're going and we know that it's legit, we've been giving them supplies. We've been giving them water. We've been giving them baby items. We've been giving them some of the sanitary products, food items, everything. We've covered this entire island. In fact, even Abaco we've touched. Because of the assistance with our Deputy Prime Minister and his aide, Damianos, we've literally had supplies that have come in here for Abaco, and what they've done too is organize even some boat vessels and items that we saw that were earmarked for Abaco. They took it to Abaco for us. So we're doing everything possible. If we see something that's marked for any particular destination, we give it to them.
She says to avoid any duplication of goods, there is a door-to-door process to mitigate that issue.
Door to door tells me that every home is being touched because we're literally sending truck drivers into every street. And they're going there and they're dropping off. So we know the truck drivers, they know the areas they're designated to, and they're making sure, and their reporters, they're even going to take photos for us as well. So we're documenting. If they come to a point where they've finished with those goods, then we know where our starting point would be. But there hasn't been any area in the city of Freeport, and even as far as Sweden Ski, that we have not touched through our volunteers and through all of the organizations that are pushing the items back out. Our goal is to not have this warehouse filled with supplies. It's to get it into the communities as quick as we possibly can.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
2 weeks after the devastating storm, and Grand Bahama Power is still working to restore electricity throughout the island. CEO Dave McGregor giving an update today at the NEMA press conference on restoration efforts to date.
We've actually connected 9,000 customers to date. We've connected all emergency services. We've connected all the schools that are able to be connected, a total of 6 schools. Bishop Michael Eldon, Freeport Primary, Walter Parker Primary, Freeport Gospel Chapel, parts of LIS, Grand Bahama Academy, Sunland Baptist Academy. We've got power into the downtown area that was devastated by floodwaters, all businesses. And we'll be connecting those businesses one at a time, handful at a time, as we get clearance via the Grand Bahama Port Authority to connect those buildings. So if those buildings have seen water, and really all of them have to some extent, get an electrician approved by the GBPA or the GBPA themselves, inspect, fill in the forms, they'll come back to us. We're ready to energize. We have power through the downtown area. We have power in the industrial park. The Freeport Container Port is running on our power. The shipyard today, I believe, is running on our power. The harbour is running on our power, and power is available to Pharmachem and polymers. So great news there in getting people back to work.
McGregor says they are working along with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and they have set a deadline for restoration of electricity.
We have approximately 3,500 customers that have not been given clearance yet by the Port Authority to connect. Obviously, we're awaiting status reports of the eastern side to try and understand what power solutions we can develop for the east. Certainly, my view, and I look forward to working with government and other agencies, is to install solar and renewable energy systems there, battery systems in the local communities that can grow with the local communities as the East End reestablishes itself. So we're looking forward to working with our partners on restoring that. Our commitment, our target internally at the Grand Bahama Power Company is to get more than 90% of homes that have been cleared for power on by the weekend. That's our target. Write it down.
In other news, the Grand Bahama Utilities Company making some headway restoring city water to homes and businesses on Grand Bahama. General Manager Garan Turnquest speaking at today's NEMA press conference. He says they are making good progress.
Where we are now, we have started distribution to the Freeport areas, moving west from water plants 1 and 6. In 48 hours, we will begin distribution to the 8 Mile Rock and the West End areas. We are currently assessing the East End area to determine how we can begin to supply water there as well. However, this will take some time, and so we appreciate your patience for the folks in East End. Please be reminded that the water provided for us, that we are providing now, is for sanitary purpose only, not for consumption. Boiled or bottled water should be used for drinking, if you're using for drinking or to making ice or washing dishes or brushing your teeth. You can boil it. You can also use it for, again, like I said, washing dishes and brushing teeth.
city water may still be a few days away from West End. So in the interim, residents are able to obtain water from the area clinic. As Jay Philippe tells us, this initiative is in partnership with the international group Samaritans Purse.
Grand Bahama Utilities estimate that water restoration in West Grand Bahama could be about 2 weeks away. However, Terrence Cartwright, lead project manager for the Public Hospitals Authority, says they have figured out a strategy using reverse osmosis to provide fresh water at the West End Clinic.
We have what we call portable and non-portable water system, and as the word denotes, portable is what you could cook with. It's something you can drink. Non-portable is what you use for sewage, for the toilet to flush with. And what we're trying to do is give West End Clinic a portable water source. And that portable water source, if you saw, we just dug a fresh water well in order to be able to bring that, which we're going to test. And so far, the water is fresh. And we'll take that and put that through a reverse osmosis system, pump that into a tank, pressurize that, and provide the buildings, including the clinic, the nurseries, and the doctor's residence in West End with what we call portable water for the short term.
Scott Powell, water engineer with the Samaritans Purse Group, explains how this process works.
We're here with water treatment systems working on Grand Bahama. We're setting up a desalination system that will take out the salt and make fresh water, fresh drinkable, potable water here at the West End Community Clinic. David Antello says it is important for patients in the West End Clinic to have access to fresh water.
A lot of the contaminants that are on the soil and on land end up getting mixed in together, and then it ends up getting into the wells. It gets ending up into the water systems. So that becomes a dangerous hazard for the population because there's a lot of nitrates, a lot of contaminants, and salt, obviously. So what we do is we come in and essentially are able to take that water, purify back to above drinking water standards, and provide that very efficiently, very quickly.
Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, says residents in West Grand Bahama will benefit tremendously from this initiative.
Well, we're very thankful for the partners that would have come into West End to assist us in getting this fresh water to the clinic. The Samaritans Purse has been doing tremendous work worldwide, and we're happy to benefit from that work here in West Grand Bahama. You know, the clinic is an essential service for any community, and to be able to access clean, fresh water, it is something that is vital. I do believe that the residents of West End and indeed West Grand Bahama will be very appreciative of this initiative, because in the end, we have to ensure that the health of our citizens is priority, and this is going to do just that in making sure that the operations of the West End Clinic continue.
This project is a short-term solution until water is fully restored in West Grand Bahama. Fresh water will be provided for the community as well. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Jay. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.